Everything's good? All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to the nutrition seminar with Kurt. All right, guys, so we're going to talk about basic nutrition here. All right, so we're not going to get too much in depth. We only have 30 minutes here, and there's so many like different variables in there, but we're going to keep it basic here. All right, guys? So I believe that education is very important because when you, there's so much information out there online that any information that you hear is like, oh man, that must be right. Well, this guy's saying one thing, this guy's saying the other. So who's right or who's wrong? All right. So, so if I ask you, what is your definition of clean eating? Everyone's going to be different. All right. This person's going to say, it's like, oh man, meat is bad for you. You shouldn't eat that. This person's going to say, it's like, oh man, carbs are going to be terrible for you. Or this person, intermittent fasting is the way to go. Paleo, keto, who's right, who's wrong. They're all expert in their field, but, which one is the best for you? So when it comes to nutrition, the most important thing, so I made a pyramid right here. So the bottom is going to be the most important. All right. Like I said, keeping it basic here. All right. So the bottom part is going to be the most important, next important, least. All right. So the bottom part. So the most important thing is, adherence and sustainability. All right. I don't really care what kind of diet you do. All right. But you got to ask yourself, can you adhere to it? And can you sustain it? All right. So here's a perfect example. I'm not a big fan of detox. All right. So sometimes on Facebook, this is a good example. On Facebook, you have somebody who's doing a 21-day detox, right? They'll do, the first week, they'll lose 5 pounds. The second week, they'll lose 4 pounds. Third week, they lose 3 pounds. And then what's after that? You don't hear from them in the 4th week. You don't hear from them in the 5th week, the 6th week, because the diet is so extreme, right? Usually with the detox, they try to put you in sometimes appetite suppressors. It depends on which one you're doing, or sometimes they'll just make you do a juice cleanse where you're not really eating calories. So when you're not eating calories, obviously you're burning more than what you're taking in. So that way you lose weight from that. All right. Like I said, when you're doing extreme diets, can you adhere to it? Can you sustain it? Like I said, I don't really care what you do. You just got to ask these questions right here. If you say no to one of it, you're not doing the right diet. All right. So like, for example, if you, I know people who truly believe in vegetarian because they know that eating meat is morally wrong. If that's them, that's them. They can make it work because they truly believe that eating meat is morally wrong. If you're just doing it just to diet, it's not going to work. Same thing with keto as well. Like I said, these are extreme diets. With keto, about the typical American diet, 60%, maybe 50 to 60% of their diet is basically carbs. All right, because they're so easily accessible. You go to the pantry, easy, refrigerate, easy. You don't have anything made, you don't have anything prep. You go to the pantry, super, super easy. And with keto, you basically almost eliminate that. All right. And, when you're cutting out almost 60% of your calories, you're obviously going to lose weight. All right. But then again, you got to ask yourself, and, adherence, sustainability. So like I said, I don't care what you do, low carb, high carb, vegetarian, keto, intermittent fasting. You have to adhere to it. You have to sustain it. All right. All right. So like I said, the most important thing is adherence, sustainability. All right. Like I said, education, I think, is the most important thing. So that way, when somebody tells you one thing, it's like, no, that can't be right. All right. So for example, if you're an expert on, let's say, you're a doctor, you're an expert on being a doctor. If somebody tells you an advice, you're an expert on it. It wouldn't make sense because you know what you talk about, you know your field, you're an expert, and then somebody telling you all this BS, it doesn't make sense. But if you don't know any better, you believe it. Right. So I believe that education is the most important thing. You got to know like the basic. You got to have a good foundation. So the number one thing is adherence and sustainability. All right. That's the very most important thing. You got to adhere to it for at least 6 months. If you can see yourself doing it for 6 months, you're set. All right. All right. So the next most important thing coming up, you have energy balance. All right. Basically what that means is calories in versus calories out. So basically what that translates to is how active are you? Calories out. How much are you burning throughout the day? Are you active? Are you sedentary? And then calories in. How much are you eating? Are you eating too much? Are you eating too little? All right. So you got to have a balance there. That's why it says energy balance. All right. So if you're sedentary, all right, this is how much energy you're burning. And if you're eating too much, what's going to happen? That extra calories that you eat, it's going to turn into fat because it's going to get stored. All right. Basically, calorie is a unit of energy. So if you're taking more energy than what you burn, you're going to store it as fat. All right. Because you have energy, extra energy in your body that you don't burn. All right. So you're going to gain weight. All right. For the person who's maintaining, you're eating this much and you're burning this much. You're maintaining. All right. And then the last group, you're working out a lot, but you're barely eating. All right. So you want to be in that person that's about, if you're trying to lose weight, you want to eat this much and you want to burn this much. All right. Something that's sustainable. Like again, sustainability and adherence. So energy balance, calories in versus calories out. Let's say we don't have to do calories here. You don't have to count anything. You just got to be true and honest with yourself. Am I eating more than what am I doing? All right. Are you an athlete? If you're an athlete, sure, you can eat like an athlete. But if you're not an athlete and you're eating like an athlete, obviously you're going to gain weight because you're taking it in more than what you're burning. Same thing with if you're working out a lot, you're moving, you're busy, and then you're barely eating. All right. You know, those type of people, you usually find them like skinny fat. All right. Because they're not eating enough to sustain their muscle mass. All right. So I said you have three groups. You want to be in that group where you're kind of in the middle. All right. Like I said, adherence, sustainability, calories in versus calories out. That's the most important. That's, I would say, about half of your success, maybe even more, is going to come from calories in versus calories out. All right. So when it comes to like your diets, keto, vegetarian, low fat, low carb, intermittent fasting, they all have one thing in common: calorie deficit. All right. So let's talk about intermittent fasting. When you're doing intermittent fasting, what are you restricting? Time, right? So if I have from 8 o'clock in the morning to 10 p.m., all right, I have so many chance to eat so many food because I have 14 hours to eat versus somebody who's doing intermittent fasting. They only have, maybe, it depends on what you're doing, you only have 4 hours to eat. Can you physically eat 3,000 calories in 4 hours if you're eating clean? All right, you got to ask yourself that question. Unless you're going like a buffet, sure. But if you're eating clean, it's impossible to eat 3,000 calories, you know, in 4 hours eating clean. All right, low carb. Why do you lose weight when you're eating? When you're doing low carb, you're cutting out your carbs. That's all you're doing. You're cutting out your carbs. You're kind of cutting out calories. Super basic here, guys. Like I said, you know, everything here is like, you know, calorie deficit. Because you're cutting out a food group, you're cutting out time, you're cutting out calories. All right, low fat. When you cut out your fat intake, you lose more calories. All right. So 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories. 1 gram of carb is 4 calories. 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. So when you're cutting out, you know, your fat intake, you're cutting out calories. All right. So everything right now is called calories. You're doing vegetarian. All right, let's talk about vegan, because vegan's a bit more extreme. When you're doing a vegan diet, your food choices is a little bit more restrictive. You can't really eat fast food. You can't eat meat, right? And a certain type of bread you can't eat because, you know, it has dairy. You know, some bread, they're made with dairy. And you can't, you know, just eat it like that. You know, so your choices has to be a little bit more smart, all right? Keto, all right? Like I said, what I said earlier, I would say typical American diet, you're eating carbs because it's so easy. You know, people don't like to meal prep. All right. So where do you go? Pantry. So when you're doing keto, you're cutting out almost 60% of your calories from carbs. So that's about 60% of your calories gone. So that's why you see a lot of people, when they do keto, they lose weight. But then again, like I said, adherence, sustainability. You know, how many of these people do it for long? All right. They might lose 20 pounds, you know, the first 3 months. And then after the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, hey man, how's it going so far? So like, oh man, I kind of falling off and everything and blah, 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 blah. Like I said, you have to be able to adhere to it and sustain. When it comes to nutrition, you got to have a little bit of flexibility to it. I believe in eating basically, everything in combination. So what's good about keto? They're eating a little bit of higher protein. What's good in vegetarian? They're eating more vegetables. Why don't you combine all the good stuff in one? All right. Like I said, like there's an expert here, there's an expert here, expert there. Who's right? Who's wrong? If you talk to one of these experts, they're going to make you believe that their way is the only way. All right. I said, I believe in more like a flexible diet, and I'll talk about that in a bit. When you're doing your diet, you got to have a little bit of flexibility. Me and my wife, we go to Chick-fil-A, every Wednesday, and that's our thing, and then we go out maybe Saturday night and then Sunday lunch. That's 3 meals right there. 3 meals versus how many meals? 21 meals. That's a very low percentage, right? So like I said, you got to have a plan. You got to flexibility. You got to enjoy life just a little bit with discipline. I'd rather be disciplined than restrictive. There's a big difference there, guys. All right. Restrictive, you can't eat certain food because it's bad, quote, right? You can't eat this because it's, doesn't work. It's more like you have moderation if you want to talk about it that way. You eat some, but you got to have control. You got to have discipline. All right. Like I said, energy balance. I know we have InBody, right? So you can go online. You can go type in total daily energy expenditure, TDEE, and you put in your age, your height, how many times you work out. You put in your body fat, your muscle mass, everything, and it'll calculate a calorie number for you. All right. And then you can add, it's like, oh, I'm going to lose, 1 pound per week, and it'll give you a number for that. All right. But like I said, you don't have to count calories to lose weight. You just got to be honest with yourself. Am I eating more than what I burn? Am I eating more than what I'm burning? All right. Are you active enough? All right. So the next important thing is you have your macronutrients. All right. You have 3 things here. You have protein, carbs, and fat. All right. So protein is good. Each one of these, are good. Fat is not the devil. Carb is not the devil. Protein is not the devil. All right. I know a lot of people, they blame carbs as, I was like, oh man, I got fat because I was eating too much carbs. It's not really the carbs you were eating. You were just eating so much. All right. Like I said, 1 gram of carb is 4 calories. So if you're eating carbs, you're eating a lot more calories. Same thing with fat. They're so easy to consume too. All you have to do is just go to a fast food. Everything's fried, fries, whatever. You're eating your calories in such high amounts. All right. Compared to like eating clean. When you're eating clean, when you're having 4-ounce chicken with quinoa, with vegetables, you're probably maybe eating 400 calories versus if you go to like Chick-fil-A, you get like number 1 with sweet tea or something. You're going to be easily hitting 1,000 to 1,200. All right. So you have your protein, carbs, fat. So what I like to do with that, I said you have to keep it basic. All right. So you have 3 circles here. You have your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. All right. Like I said, we're keeping it basic today. All right. So your breakfast, lunch, dinner. These are your non-negotiables. All right. No matter what, eat your breakfast, no matter what, lunch, dinner. But like I said, the most important thing is energy balance. All right. But keeping it basic. All right. You have your breakfast. In order for you to have a balanced meal, you got to have a protein source, carb source, fat source. So for your breakfast, you have protein, carbs, fat, lunch, protein, carbs, fat, protein, carbs, and fat. All right. So when you look at your plate, all right. When you look at your plate, do you have a protein source? Egg whites, whatever. All right. Egg whites, whole egg. Those are a protein source. And then give me a carb source. What is a good carb source? You can do oatmeal if you want. All right. Keeping it basic. And then you can have avocado, or you can have your eggs here. You can have a whole grain, whole wheat toast, and then have avocado with that. All right. So you have your protein, carbs, fat. So you're hitting all the balance right there. All right. If you are tracking your calories, what I like to do is 30% protein, 40% carbs, 30% fats. All right. If you don't like tracking your calories, you can do your hands. All right. So about fist size right here. That's about roughly 4 to maybe 5 ounce. So that's your protein. Your carbs about a handful of carbs, and then fat will be a thumb right there. All right. So that'll be like a good portion. All right. So breakfast, lunch, dinner, that's your non-negotiable. Protein, carbs, fat, protein, carbs, fat, protein, carbs, fat, and then you add vegetables in there. All right. So where does your snacks come into play? You can do those in between. All right. Same concept here, guys. Protein, carbs, fat. So let's say you ate your breakfast, you went to work out at 8 o'clock, right? Your snack would be, what's your post-workout meal? A protein shake, a banana, peanut butter. So you have your protein shake, a banana, fat, peanut butter. That's balance right there. So like I said, every time you eat your meal, make sure you have balanced food, balanced macronutrient. So going back to this, adherence, sustainability, all right? Energy balance. Are you eating more than what you're burning? All right? Or are you eating about the same? And then next is macronutrient, protein, carbs, fat. But like I said, here's your total calories, and then protein, carbs, and fat. Those makes up your total calorie intake. All right. So if you're eating more calories, what you're burning, you're gonna gain weight. All right. Let's say keto. If you take off carbs, right there, you're not eating as much carbs. You're gonna cut out 1/3 of your calorie intake. That means you're gonna lose weight. All right. So we have adherence, sustainability, energy balance, macronutrient, protein, carbs, fat. That's it. Keeping it simple, guys. Look at your meals. Make sure everything is balanced. All right. Next part here, you have your food composition. All right. So if you do track your calories, you'll notice that 40 grams carbs, 40 grams carbs of chocolate, let's say, right? Chocolate. I can't spell today, guys. Chocolate. And then 40 grams carbs, apple, right? When it comes to calorie, like I said, for 1 gram of carb is 4 calories. So this would be 160 calories, 160 calories. Who's eating more in terms of calories? Nobody. But when you look at food composition, which one has the more nutrient? So an apple is more nutrient dense than chocolate. You'll feel a lot better. You have more sustainable energy. But when it comes to like weight loss, they're about the same. But you'll feel a lot better with an apple. And then with chocolate, you eat it, and the next thing you know, you're hungry again. All right? Because chocolate, you can eat like 40 grams of carbs this way, and then an apple would be like 2 apples for 40 grams. And you're going to be more full with the apple, and you're going to be eating more nutrient-dense food. So when it comes to let's say rice, if you're tired of eating sweet potato, eat a substitute. All right? Eat rice. If you like rice, eat rice, because the most important thing, like I said, adherence, sustainability. If I give you a plan that's super basic, super boring, all right, this plan is going to work, and we know it's going to work. All right? So if I give you, hey man, this is all you're going to eat for the next 12 weeks. You're going to eat chicken, grilled chicken, rice, broccoli. That's all you're eating for the next 12 weeks. Can you adhere to that? Can you sustain it? That's not sustainable. You're going to hate your life. All right? You're going to hate your life. You're going to start punching everybody. You're going to start to, whatever. You're going to start to go crazy. All right? That's, like I said, that's another extreme. Even though you're eating protein, carbs, fat, that's another extreme. You got to have flexibility. So if you're tired of eating sweet potato, eat a regular potato. All right? If that means you sticking, to your plan, find a substitute. Eat something different, guys, all right? So if you're tired of eating sweet potato, eat a regular potato. If you're tired of eating brown rice, eat a regular rice. If you're tired of eating this, eat something else. If you're tired of eating chicken, eat turkey. If you're tired of turkey, eat fish, all right? Like I said, find a substitute. Like I said, 4 grams is about this, all right? Everyone's going to be different. If you're 300 pounds muscle, you're not gonna, this right here will probably be too small for you. All right, compared to like a 120-pound woman, this right here would be good for them. All right, like I said, food composition. All right, like I said, that's what it's about right here. The most important thing is your calories in versus calories out, and then make sure you're eating protein, carbs, fat, and then look at that food composition after. All right, like I say, it's not the most important thing, but it is still important, But your sanity is the most important thing. Adherence, sustainability. That's why I keep saying it. Right? You gotta be able to sustain at least 6 months. If you're not, if you can't see yourself doing that, I can guarantee you about 9% of you guys will gain the weight back. All right, I've seen it so many times. All right, so food compositions, low nutrient dense food versus high nutrient dense food. Even if the carbs the same, all right, they're still giving you the same energy, but you're gonna feel a lot better eating an apple than fries. All right, plus with fries you're eating carbs and fat, which is high calories. All right, and the next one we have timing. All right, timing. All right, so let's say if you're doing calories, right? If you're eating 2,000 calories and that's your prescribed number to hit, right? Can you eat 2,000 calories in one meal? Most likely, probably not. All right, that's a lot of calories in one meal. So if you decide to skip breakfast, you decide to skip lunch because you're so busy, I don't have time to eat. I'm so busy. I'm just gonna drink coffee. I gotta work. Can you eat 2,000 calories in one meal? Sure, in a buffet, yes. But eating clean, it's hard to eat 2,000 calories. All right. Like I said, you got to eat enough to sustain your muscle mass. All right. Like I said, you're a sports car. You got to take care of your body. You're not just you're not just neglecting it. You got to take care of the car. All right. Like I said, timing. But then again, you can do intermittent fasting. That's why intermittent fasting works. Is especially as a nurse. If you're a nurse, you're working 12-hour shifts. You can't just eat every 2 hours. All right. So with intermittent fasting, you can do maybe possibly 2 meals. Right. Let's say, this person's eating 4 meals right there. All right. 500 calories, 500 calories, 500 calories, 500 calories, 2,000 calories, right? They're eating 2,000. And then you're doing intermittent fasting, right? You can do 1,000 calories, 1,000 calories equals 2,000. So who's eating more here, guys? About the same. So it doesn't really matter. Like I said, it doesn't really matter what your diet is. Like I said, the common denominator here is calorie deficit. That's why all these diets work. Why does what is that? Detox. Why do they work? Because you're basically almost eating no calories, right? So if you're used to eating 2,000 calories and you do like a detox where you're doing like appetite suppressor, or you're just eating eating vegetables and you're juicing, you're eating maybe like 500 calories. You're in a 15-calorie deficit. That means you're going to lose weight because you're such in a super, super, super caloric deficit. All right. That's why when you do detox, you can only do 3 weeks at a time. You can't do that for the whole year. All right. It's not sustainable. All right. So timing, like I said, adherence, sustainability is the most important thing. That's why I keep saying it. All right. Energy balance, macronutrient, food composition, timing, and then last but not least, supplementation. Supplements work, but they're not as important. All right. So I could be taking like the best fat burner in the world. I can be taking the protein shake to build muscle. But if this right here is all crap, that's not going to work. All right. But if I can make this work and don't take that, I'll be fine. All right. Like I said, I would say supplementation is about 1% to 3%. If you're competing in a high level, 1% to 3% will make a big difference. All right. Like I said, if you look at like Usain Bolt, from first place to third place, it's like a split second. 1% is going to make a big difference. But in terms of like a daily living, 1% doesn't really matter too much. We're not competing. We're not racing anybody. We're trying to build a healthy lifestyle here. All right. Like I said, I believe in education. I believe that everybody needs to be educated in nutrition. So that way, when you see something online, it's like, oh man, what is this celery diet juice? thing. You know, you're not going to be like, oh my gosh, that's going to work for me. It's like, no, that's just going to kill your metabolism. You're going to be hungry. You're going to be mad. You're going to punch your wife. You're going to punch your husband. Don't punch your wife. But you're going to be mad. You're just going to hate people. You know, like I said, you know, when it comes to being fit, it's not, you know, it's not supposed to be a prison. You're supposed to enjoy. All right. You know, when you lose weight, when you look good, it's supposed to give you confidence. It's supposed to give you, you know, like, you know, life. It's supposed to make you feel good. You take off your shirt, you can run, you can do this. But if it's slowly, if you're doing these, you know, very, very restricted diet, that's when you start to lose like that, that lifestyle just a little bit. You're not enjoying life as much. You might look good, but you hate your life. All right. You know, I was like, man, I can't do that. I'm doing keto. Oh man, I can't do that. I can't go to the cookout because I'm vegan. You know, like I said, you can do whatever you want, but it has to be you. And you're not doing it just because it's like, man, I need to lose weight. All right. I said, you know, find what works for you, and it has to be you. It has to fit your lifestyle. You know, for me, I'm Filipino, so my carbs is going to be more heavy towards rice. All right. But like I said, the most important thing is calories in versus calories out. So if I need to lose weight, I'm going to eat, you know, less calories, all right, than what I want to burn more than what I'm taking in. All right. So over time, I'm going to start to lose weight. So if my maintenance is 3,000 calories because I have this as a job, I work, and then I'm very active throughout the day. You know, if I eat 3,000 calories, I'm going to maintain. But if I eat 2,500, I'm in a 500 calorie deficit. That means over time, I'm going to lose weight. All right. But like I said, if you guys have any question, comment down below right now. I'll try to answer real quick. Like I said, I want to keeping it basic. You know, we're not talking about like really like hard numbers here, but just education. All right. Let me know if you have any question right now. If not, I'll just keep talking and then blah, 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 blah. All right. Let me know if you have any questions. You know, what do I think about low fat, low carb, you know, all that stuff. Like I said, you know, here, total daily energy expenditure. You can put that so that way you can have more of kind of understanding how much you are eating. I track my calories so that way it keeps me accountable, you know, because sometimes I get busy and, you know, I don't have time to eat this and that, you know, and I got to make sure I take it in. You know, like I said, same thing with finance. If you want to save money, you got to budget, right? Same thing with food. You know, you got to learn how to budget. But if you don't want to track or anything, your awareness just has to be a lot bigger. Am I eating more? Am I exercising? Am I eating balanced meals? Am I eating more nutrient-dense food? Is my timing good? Am I taking the right supplements? You know, these are important. You know, so like I said, if you can't adhere to it, you can't sustain it, it's not going to work for you. All right. Yeah. I say keep it as simple here, guys. Like I say, education is the most important things. So Heidi, let me answer your question here. So there are a lot of like good fats. You have olive oil, you have avocados. You know, so if you go to Google real quick, you type in macro cheat sheet, it'll give you lists of food there. So it'll give you lists of protein to eat. It'll give you lists of carbs. It'll give you lists of macro cheat sheet right here. Macro cheat sheet. All right. Google that online. Heidi from Myrtle Beach, right? You can personally message me and I can help you out too. Like I said, I don't want to get too much into in depth with some of these questions. I want to keep it basic. All right. Macro cheat sheet. If you Google that online, it's going to give you lists of food. What foods has protein and carbs? What food has protein and fat? What foods has carbs and fat? You know, it'll give you a list of that, a bunch of them. All right. Opinion on eating carbs early in the day. So if you're already in a calorie deficit, it doesn't really matter, you know, when you're eating your carbs. But if you're working out in the morning and if you want more energy in the morning, eat most of your carbs in the morning. You catch what I'm saying? So if you want more energy in the morning, eat your carbs in the morning. So that way the energy is readily available for that. But if you're working out more in the afternoon, eat more of your carbs in the afternoon. So that way when you come work out, you have a lot more energy rather than feeling like, oh man, I'm hungry, I don't have any energy, right? So it doesn't really matter what part of the day, just make it work. If you're, like I said, working out in the morning, eat more carbs in the morning. Working out more in the afternoon, eat more carbs in the afternoon. But like I said, if you're in a calorie deficit, you should still lose weight regardless of the time of day. So it all comes to preference. So Olinda, all right, if you have a hard time eating breakfast in the morning, that is fine. Like I said, the reason why intermittent fasting works is it still follows the calorie in versus calories out. So if you don't want, like I said, this is the basic here. If you don't want to eat breakfast, eat something light, eat something small for that. Maybe, take that out right there, eat your snack, and eat a little bit bigger lunch and dinner for that. All right? Because I'm the same way. When I wake up and I'm ready to go to work, I'm not really hungry. And sometimes I'll eat more foods that are like easier to eat. So sometimes I'll eat my snack first before my breakfast sometimes. So you can do your snacks first, something easy on the way to work, have a bigger lunch, have a bigger dinner. So that could still be 2,000 calories, right? So you can have, let's say 500 calories, 750. Let's say that adds up to 2,000. Or you can do 500, it's still 2,000. So it doesn't really matter there. Just kind of plan it out. Eat a little bit more if you're skipping breakfast. Like I said, it has to follow the rules, calories in versus calories. There's no magic to anything. If somebody tells you that, we live in a world, it's 2020, guys. People do this for a living. They do research. It's science, all right? There's no magic to it. Fruits has a lot of sugar. So this is perfect, all right? So I might get a little bit sarcastic here, guys. All right, so fruits. So I had a guy, right, tells me, they didn't tell me, they tell another member. They said that don't eat a banana because banana has fruit, sugar, and fruit sugar turns to carb or turns into fat. And in my mind, I was like, how many bananas did you eat to get overweight? Right? How many overweight people do you see that eats banana? Right? So it doesn't really make sense. Do you see an overweight person eating banana? Right? So fruits do have sugar, but like I said, if you put in like a calorie tracker, a large banana has about 29 to let's say 30 grams of carbs. But 30 grams of carbs, so 30 times 4, 3, 6, 9, 12. That's about 120 calories. And that's not bad. If you're eating 2,000 calories versus 120 calories, it shouldn't really make too much of a difference. If you're eating like 10 bananas a day, that might make a big difference. All right. So like I said, bananas, I've never seen a person, all they eat is bananas and they get overweight from it. All right. Let's see, Stephanie, what supplements do you recommend? So for me, like for my supplementation, I do multivitamin. I do sometimes probiotic, fish oil. And then for me, since I'm doing like strength training, you guys can take it too. I'll do creatine and protein shake. Like I do whey protein. And those are like my basic. And if you Google it online too, what are the most basic supplements? And it'll give you that multivitamin, fish oil, whey protein, creatine. And those are usually like the basic. All right. Anything more than that is almost a waste of money. Yeah. All right, Tori, what do you recommend eating before an early workout? So going back to the question of that's a good question, Tori. Going back to the question of should I eat my carbs in the morning or in the evening? If you want more energy in the morning, eat the carbs in the morning. So what do I recommend you eating before an early workout? So what I like to do is I have this thing called stock protein. It's basically like a coffee protein, right? So I'll do a glass of that and I'll eat a banana. So I have a little bit of caffeine, and then I have a quick carb source, which is a banana. So when you see like athletes, right, ready to get into the field, what do they eat? A banana. All right, because carbs are very, very quick energy source. If you eat fats are a little bit harder to break down, so it doesn't give you the energy immediately. It's a slow energy. So if you eat like anything fruits, banana, anything like I said, fruits, those will give you like the energy quick because it is like simple sugar too. It gets into your system. It gives you like the vitamin C, all that stuff, carbs, all that sugar. It gives you the energy, and you're ready to work out. All right. Heidi, what about timing eating fresh fruit? I try to eat the fruit after a hard workout. So, Heidi, for you, that's totally up to you. If you can eat fruits before or you can eat fruits after. So, like what I like to do, I like to eat fruits sometimes before I work out, and then for my post-workout meal, I have my protein shake, and I have a banana, and then sometimes peanut butter. So I still have my balance, protein, carbs, fat. But it comes to like preference as well. Like I said, the most important thing is, how you feel about it. If you feel like you need more energy and more carbs in the morning, eat more carbs in the morning. So that way you have more energy in the morning. All right. Opinion on collagen supplements. I haven't really done a lot of research on that. And I don't want to give you an information that I'm not gonna say like an expert on. You might have to do that research on your own, or you can message me personally, and I can do a little bit of research and then tell you what I feel about it. So Heidi was asking about collagen supplements with that. Usually, I used to be that guy that used to be about supplement, and then don't really care about this right here, So these are the most important thing. And then supplementation is at the top because it doesn't, look at that volume. It's 1% to 3%. So the most important thing is here, and you got to be consistent with it. Starting July, I'm gonna start to have. I'm gonna do like my bodybuilding cut, and I'm gonna do like daily vlogs and how I do things, and you guys can tune in with that. Like I said, there's no really secrets to it. When I did a bodybuilding show about 3 weeks ago, or not 3 weeks ago, 3 years ago, I was eating bacon every other day, but I was still falling within the guidelines. But bacon was just something that kind of keeps me sane, because if I'm eating the same food every single time, every single day, it's gonna drive me insane. I did it for 13 weeks. You think I can do that for 13 weeks eating chicken broccoli rice? I'll go crazy, man. So that's why you gotta have a little bit of flexibility, substitution. All right, so Susan, for building muscle, how many grams per pound of protein do you recommend? There's a lot of information out there. I like to do 1 gram per pound of body weight. But like I said, if you're like 300 pounds, you shouldn't be eating 300 grams of protein. So I think when ACSM, don't quote me this, I might be wrong. It's been a while. I think it's, I don't remember what it was. Crap. But you can Google it, ACSM, protein recommendation. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it's lower than 1 gram per pound. Because I don't think we really need to eat like that much protein. But like I said, ACSM, protein intake, ACSM. Go ahead and Google that, Susan. I don't have all the information right now in my head because there's so many out there. But yeah. So Tori, which whey protein do you recommend? Are we talking about brands here? So when it comes to brand, you want to get the most reputable one. So I like to drink. There's Muscle Tech. Muscle Tech, that's the brand. Yeah, that's the brand, Muscle Tech. There's Optimum Nutrition. It goes by usually like ON. Yeah, Optimum Nutrition. Optimum Nutrition. There's a lot of brands out there. You can go to bodybuilding.com. They usually have like those top 10 protein brands, and those are usually pretty good, right? Hey, do you have any protein recommendation brand? There's Syntha, right? Syntha 6. Yeah, those are pretty good. Anything that's reputable.
We might be releasing one.
Yeah. Should I tell them that?
Tell them we might.
Yeah. So we might be releasing a protein brand. So stay tuned with that. All right. But I said, if you guys have any questions, guys, like I said, message me personally. I'll try my best to help out. You gave me your time. All right. To listen. But like I said, keep it basic. You know, like I said, like in conclusion, adherence, sustainability, energy balance. Are you eating balance? Are you eating high nutrient dense food or low nutrient dense food? Timing, supplementation. So worry about this, then this. If you can get that down and pack, you're gonna enjoy life a little bit more. You're a little bit more educated. You can, make a decision on the fly, especially if you guys are going out. You can say, okay, I'm going out. I need to eat a little bit more protein because I'm gonna be eating a little bit more carbs. So if you're going out, this is a tip. All right. So if you're going out, cut out something. So instead of getting sweet tea, get water instead. All right. So like I said, I believe in still enjoying life, in a diet. Right. So if you're going out, go out. Have fun with your friends and family. If you're gonna have an appetizer, don't get water instead. All right. Or you don't have to get an appetizer, get something to drink. So it's just kind of give or take here. It's all about balance. Like I said, discipline rather than being restrictive. Oh, I can't eat that. Rather than say, hey, I'll take a little bit of piece and I'll eat that and I'm fine. All right. That's it. Education, guys. Education is the most important thing. Do your research. Ask me, ask Spencer, ask any of your coaches. Education is the most important thing. All right. Otherwise, if somebody comes up to you, you don't know anything better, right? You don't know anything about nutrition. If they tell you that, hey man, if you do this alkaline diet, you're gonna lose weight, a lot of weight. This and that. You're gonna believe them because you don't know any better. They look like they're the expert because they sound like they're an expert. All right. Like I said, do your research. Maybe study a course on nutrition. So that way you can have a little bit of better understanding why we eat this, why we eat that, and how calories work. And that's gonna be the most important thing because education will take you forward rather than believing on the hype every single time you hear something. All right. So keep it basic. Fundamentals, guys. If you have any questions, like I said, message me personally and I'll try to help you out. All right. 43 minutes right there. I'll see you guys soon.